Jamaica is at a changing and a pivotal point in its economic growth.
We try to identify businesses that has a good value proposition as well as can create a competitive advantage in the marketplace.
By including 2 startups this season, we want to showcase to the public the dynamic of being at that stage, or if they're in that phase, how they can take their businesses to the next level.
People, resources, infrastructure, it costs. What we look to do as investors is to enable that growth by financing that next phase.
This is a high-stakes competition for an equity investment of up to $50 million.
And then there were 4. Good morning, entrepreneurs. As business owners, you must always be prepared to pitch your company to a potential investor. Today is your first individual challenge, the perfect pitch. You will be taken over to NCB's Corporate Learning Center, where you will participate in a networking session with a group of potential investors. You will have 2 minutes to pitch your companies to these investors. Remember, you must always be ready to make an investor pitch. The investors will rate all the pitches, and the comments will be sent to the NCB Capital Quest Boardroom for review. Entrepreneurs, you now have 20 minutes to prepare your investor pitch session.
A 2-minute pitch has always been a great area for me. The 30-second pitch is easy because it's just value proposition, and the 5-minute pitch, you have enough time to get everything that you need, but 2 minutes has hardly ever been enough time for me to teach somebody who has no idea what we do.
Well, hello there.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Fine, thanks.
What are you up to here today?
We're pitching.
What's going on?
Pitch day.
Oh,
Pitch day.
pitch day.
Pitch
That's
day.
why you're looking so spiffy, everybody. Okay, so I'm here to work with you on that.
My company is Biz Tactics Limited. We provide advisory and consulting services to primarily medium and small companies. Our company is a partner of the International Finance Corporation, which is a division of the World Bank. And through this partnership, we train directors in corporate governance board leadership throughout the Caribbean, and we mentor CEOs to ensure that their board structures are appropriate for their size and that their companies are utilizing their directors as best as they can. Robust corporate governance is an imperative for companies that want to grow, and particularly those that want to grow rapidly. And for those companies who are wanting to attract angel investment or venture capital, or even offer their shares as an initial public offering, it is important for them to have functioning boards of directors. Our team includes certified project management professionals who have a razor focus on achieving results.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
You know what it is you need to do, so I'm here to just sort of help you to see if you're on the right track.
Okay.
You've prepared a pitch?
Yeah, I think I have something, a shell. I'm hoping that you can help me to fine tune it.
So let me hear what you've prepared, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. My company is Mobile Money Solutions. My company focuses on developing unique solutions in the field of mobile payments. We started this company because we believe that bill payment was a tedious process, and at this point in time, there are many other ways to make it as easy and efficient as possible. We are seeking $50 million for 30% of our company. This is basically to aid in product development and to offset startup expenditures. Our product is extremely scalable due to the high smartphone penetration globally and in the Caribbean. As such, we are hopeful that we can move from territory to territory using the same product. We're just shifting a few things here and there and have it working. That's basically it.
You need to exude a little more confidence, Dave. It's coming across as very rote. You know, you need to show these investors that you are really passionate about this business. You believe in it. It's not an exciting pitch right now. What is a hook that's going to make somebody say, I want to hear more about this business? Why should I use your app when I can already do it through my bank?
Because at this point, if you're paying a bill online, you still don't see the amount once you go to your bank.
Right.
So you have to still search for the bill amounts and then plug that in. So if you're paying 5 different bills.
So that's your solution, which didn't come out. Okay?
Understood.
All right. Well, good luck, my dear.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. My pitch session with Sandra was very good. She basically pointed out the flaws I had in my current draft, and she gave me the information needed to make my pitch into what it should be, and basically what investors are looking for.
He has a lot of work to do to organize the flow of information, to give it a little punch to really ensure that he grabs the attention of the panel. So I think you guys are pros at this, so I guess that's you, Sarah.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so why don't we do a practice?
Okay.
All right, so let me time you then.
Me too.
Okay, there you go.
16 billion US dollars. That's the size of the international destination wedding market. And Jamaica, of course, is the #1 location for destination brides in the Caribbean. At Bliss, we provide all of our brides with access to top international designer wedding gowns at affordable prices through our dress rental service.
Marketing.
What?
Marketing.
Oh, through our unique social media strategy of primarily using, through our unique marketing strategy of primarily using social media to reach our clients, we've been able to increase our revenues by 30% in the past 2 years. We're seeking an investment of 30 million J to acquire a larger store in Kingston, increase our inventory, open a store in Montego Bay, and explore franchising opportunities in the Caribbean as we move towards an IPO.
Okay.
That's because I got caught up.
No, that was very good.
I have a tendency to get a little nervous sometimes, so I
yeah.
need a few seconds to where I feel my voice starting to shake.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath
Right.
and continue.
No, I liked that pitch.
Okay.
Primarily because you started off with that number.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? I love that.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it had a lot of the elements that you started with some intrigue. It was strong. I wanted to hear more.
Okay, good.
I wanted to hear more.
Oh, okay.
Now you did talk about your margin. You didn't talk about your margins.
Right. We said we increased sales, but we didn't hear a profit margin.
Increased sales. Well, what would your sales be? So you have to add that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
But you are well on your way, my darlings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As usual, I got a little bit nervous. I don't know why I always get nervous in the middle and not the beginning. So that threw off our time a little bit. But she liked it. She thought it was good. Gave us some really good pointers. And so we just have to tighten it up a little bit, remove 1 or 2 things, put in some other things, and I think we should have a pretty good pitch.
Should be ready.
Sarah and Brian were really on point. They had a very good pitch. And they just needed to do a few more tweaks.
Follow the conversation on social media using hashtag NCB Capital Quest to win prizes.
Hi, Manny.
Hey, Sandra.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I think you've done this many times before, so you should ace this one, right?
That's the assumption, but you'd never get used to it.
Listen, you should always be prepared to make a pitch. And it's important that you know who you're pitching to.
Right.
One of the things anybody wants to know is that you're confident about this business. So you have to exude confidence. You as the entrepreneur, you have to appeal to them.
Okay.
And once you appeal to them and you have a good story about a product or a service that you want to offer to the marketplace, and if they come on board with you, if they partner with you, they can make loads of money.
Okay.
Then that's how you sell it.
I'm looking at this and it says something even about a hook, and it's like, how do you define that or come up with that hook?
A hook, right. You want that compelling story. You want to tell it in a way that people are just eager to know more, right? So that's how you create that hook.
Okay.
All right? So why not, let's have a go at it. And
Right
let me
now?
see. Yeah, right now.
I'm a part of Finalizing.com, and I specialize in creating magical experiences for people through great design and through software technology. And primarily, we wanted to figure out how can we make it easy for buyers and sellers to get connected without the 3 to 4 trips to the nearest retail store or calling the wrong business. And sorry about that.
So you've gone way more than half your time.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't talked about the size of the opportunity. You haven't talked about how it works and how much money you need and why investors will make a ton of money.
I need to do this over. This is so hard. Okay. See, let me write this down in my brain.
The session with Sandra, the pitch practice, was very messy, but in terms of just the feedback, it was very important, it was very useful.
I think he is a little unsure about how to structure the pitch. So he has some work to do. I think the best pitches are those that are, you're telling a good story, it's a conversation. And so you have a sort of tendency, you have to put away that nervousness. Okay. You want to look enthusiastic, but not overly so. And you want to tell your story and let it flow, right? Okay. But remember, you're also speaking to investors, so you have to share some of the things that they are interested in, like what?
What are we asking for, and what are we going to do with it, and to demonstrate that it will be profitable and that their money will be safe and they will have a high return.
Exactly. So why don't we just go do a little practice session first? Let's hear what you have.
Hi, I'm Moses Chaibar, CEO of Icon Importers and Distributors, a subsidiary of a billion-dollar family-owned business which was conceptualized in 1992. Over the years, we have been profitable, and our net margins have moved from 0% in 2012 to 5% in 2015. Our net profit at the end of 2015 was 19 million Jamaican dollars.
I mean, that was good. You had a lot of detail in there. So I would want you to think, go back there to your notes and pull out the high points. Really, you want to identify what the problem is, what the solution is, what is the opportunity for an investor, right? The revenue and profit potential.
Yes.
The returns. Now remember, first impressions. I don't know, you still sound a little stiff, Moses. If you can relax a little because you know your business, you know what the potential is. Right. So you really just want to tell the story without it sounding. Just you're having a conversation. You want to just make those points. And I think if you are if you're enthusiastic and you convey your passion and you're conversational, you make that first impression, I think you're going to ace it.
Well, my pitch session with Mrs. Glasgow was really interesting, informative, and very helpful to me.
Moses had a lot of good information, and I think it's just a matter of being, sort of a little more at ease with making his pitch. He was a little stiff, but I thought he had some good points that were convincing.
Follow the conversation on social media using hashtag NCB Capital Quest to win prizes. You're watching NCB Capital Quest. The contestants are in for a surprise. Instead of heading to the corporate learning campus for a networking session, they will be meeting the business mogul on their way to the location.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Very good. I'm Patrick Hilton. I'm Group Managing Director of National Commercial Bank. You have 2 minutes to pitch your business to me.
Good afternoon.
Starting now.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Oakley. I am CEO of Mobile Money Solutions. In Jamaica, we pay roughly 60 million bills per year. That boils down to 1 million bill payers paying about 4 monthly bills. We realize it's a common problem. We've all done the lunch hour run where you run to a bill payment place and you have to pay a bill, but you only have 1 hour. You end up wasting 30 minutes in line. And on top of it, you have had no lunch and you waste 30 minutes doing nothing. So you go back to work extra grumpy. This affects productivity. Let's say you're a millennial where you pay bills online. You have 5 monthly bills. So you're saying you're going to pay each bill, but you don't know the amount. So you're searching for 5 bills, 5 separate amounts, and you waste time again. We think this is crazy. It's 2016, and we think it's time we disrupt the bill payment market. So we're breaking it apart and we're bringing it to the 21st century with our app, EasyBill. EasyBill allows any device connected to the internet to pay bills or move money quickly. With EasyBills, we give you your actual bill amount at any time. You're able to schedule payments. You're able to pay on the go from any device anywhere in the world. All right, the addressable size of the market in Jamaica is about 1 million bill payers per month. So we're saying we want 20% of that market. With that market, we're targeting 50,000 users by year 2 and 100,000 in year 4. We'll be charging each user $1 per month. The first month is free because we want to get them on board. So each individual user, $1 per month. And for companies, we're giving them a corporate bill solution, which works out to $25 per month. In all this, we're asking for 15 million Jamaican dollars for 30% of our company. Based on our targets, if we hit all targets by year 4, our investor will be able to exit at year 3 at 2x the initial investment. We think it's time bill payments became easy, and we have a solution that will disrupt the market and cause so much chaos that person will say, why have I been paying my bills the same way for 20 years? Why haven't the other competitors advanced? So our product is EasyBill, and we're happy to present it to you, sir.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you're done?
Yes, sir.
You have a little extra time.
So, I got cards, but I mean, I studied as best as I could with the advice that Sandra gave me. And I think I came across nervous at first, but I think I explained myself, and I think you got a clear idea of what I'm trying to do. So I'm hopeful that that works out for me.
I think he was pretty interesting. Clear on the ask. I wasn't so clear on the vision for the business, but the ask is clear. The description of the potential of the business sounds a little bit less than what I would anticipate for something of that nature. But that makes it interesting, and so one would want to hear a little bit more.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very good. You have 2 minutes in which to pitch your business to me.
My name is Sarah Stanford, and in partnership with my husband, Brian Stanford, we own Bliss Bridal Boutique.
Okay.
16 billion US dollars. That's the size of the international destination wedding market. Jamaica, of course, is the #1 location for destination brides in the Caribbean. At Bliss, we provide all of our brides with access to top international designer wedding gowns at affordable prices through our dress rental service. Now, we've already kind of revolutionized the industry here locally by, excuse me, we've already revolutionized the industry here locally by becoming the only authorized retailer in Jamaica of all the designers we carry. As we move towards the destination market, we partner with hotels such as Couples, Iberostar, and Secrets to provide their brides with our destination service. With our unique marketing strategy of primarily using social media to reach our clients, we've been able to increase sales by 30% in the past 2 years. With a Facebook following of over 150,000 fans, we've already built a strong brand, or begun to build a strong brand, both locally and regionally. We're seeking an investment of $30 million J for a 20% equity share in our company to acquire a larger store in Kingston, increase our inventory, and start a store in Montego Bay, as well as explore franchising opportunities in the region as we move towards an IPO. We anticipate a 10 times your return on your investment in 5 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can exhale.
I try, but the nerves.
You can exhale.
Huh?
You can exhale.
I can exhale now, but the nerves.
I was nervous. Again, I started off well, and I started to get nervous, and I had to try and calm myself down, which I think I did. I got the information out, but I don't think I got it out without all the nerves.
I think she did reasonably well in all the circumstances. She was very nervous, obviously. You could hear it in her speech, in her diction. You could see her fighting to organize her thoughts and to get it to flow, in a constructive manner. And I thought she did fairly well in spite of her nervousness in terms of addressing the major points, the vision for the company, the potential of the business. She described the global market. She described, and seeking an international perspective to move beyond the local boundaries. She described a number of partnerships and so on. She spoke a little bit to the financials in terms of the margins. She was pretty clear on the ask, $30 million over a 5-year period, and the expected return that an investor could get on it. So I think she did a fairly reasonable job in speaking to the major issues, and definitely I'd be interested in hearing more from her in the future.
Follow the conversation on social media using hashtag NCB Capital Quest to win prizes. You're watching NCB Capital Quest.
Hey.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Patrick Hilton.
Hey, I'm Manine Marsh.
Managing Director at NCB. So now you have 2 minutes within which to pitch your business to me.
Oh, sure. So I'm Manine Marsh, CEO of thevinings.com.
Yes.
And these are my shoes, right?
Okay.
And in a couple of months ago, I have to change these. But I'm going to be faced with a problem that most consumers face in emerging markets every day. The struggle of trying to figure out where do I go to find a specific product and the cost. See, there are probably hundreds of stores that could potentially sell the product that I'm looking for, but the process of going to figure out a specific store is a frustrating one because most of these retail businesses are operating almost completely offline, right? Save for the 3 to 4 hours they spend on social media trying to figure out where their customers are or who they are, where they exist. And this is a pattern that exists not just in Jamaica, but in emerging markets across the world, where 9 out of 10 people are buying products within physical stores. But because of the retail landscape, right, these stores are not able to find these customers easily, right? And that's where we come in. So we are an online platform that with my team, we are able to allow customers to get connected to retail businesses by generating qualified leads for these businesses in real time, right? So unlike an e-commerce platform where people post products or people try to post their inventory online, we do like a pull strategy, or a push strategy rather, where consumers first post products that they sell or what they're looking for, right? And then we use that to reduce the time it takes for a business to close that lead or close that sale from minutes and hours to seconds. So we launched in August 2015, and by December we had attracted over 500 people onto our online platform. 700 leads were generated. What was great was that 35% of those people actually purchased the product. Because we were focusing on demand instead of supply. So the vision here is to not become another e-commerce platform, but become a platform that connects people to local businesses. Well, you can always keep it. We can always talk more because there's a long story.
Well, we can keep talking, but it's just that the formal pitch time is up. So.
Yeah. I wasn't in the frame. I wasn't expecting him to be there. Expecting to be taken to somewhere so I could wrap up the last bits in my head. It was good and it went 70% how I wanted it to go. But at the same time, we didn't get a chance to do the last 2 things that I wanted to do, which was talk about the vision and talk about the ask. Because primarily in the middle of it, my brain was oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now.
I thought he missed the opportunity to really say what is it that he wanted. As I understand it, he's supposed to be looking for investment in the business, and he never got to articulate that. I don't know what is his vision for the business, where he wants to go with it. He started to talk a little bit about the track record, but I didn't get much on that in terms of the business performance, what kind of margins is he experiencing, what is he expecting, and so on. I think those were key elements that were missing. Good afternoon, sir. I am Patrick Hilton, Group Managing Director of National Commercial Bank, and you have 2 minutes in which to pitch your business to me. Starting now.
Good afternoon. My name is Moses Chaibar.
Yes.
I'm the CEO of Icon Importers and Distributors, a subsidiary of a billion-dollar family-owned business which started in 1992. Currently, we import and distribute garbage bags and other disposable items to the hospitality and supermarket industry. We have established over the years excellent customer relationships with the major distribution companies in Jamaica and also the hotel chains. We are a profitable company, and we have grown from 5% net margin in 2012 to 5% in 2015. Our profit margin last year net was $19 million. We are committed to manufacturing garbage bags locally, and we have started a process by, we are now at an advanced stage of acquiring a property, 3.8 acres with 20,000 square footage of space for warehousing, factory space, and our main distribution center. We are seeking an investment of $50 million. The plant will cost 60, we're investing 10. Now, the projected returns on the investment is at least 10 times the investment after a 5 years period. So we expect that our investor will be making at least 10 times their returns on the investment over the period. We, together, if you invest with us, we will create jobs, we'll save foreign exchange, and we'll make lots of money. We're also going to impact the environment because we are going to be using recycled material in our second phase of this production. Are there any questions, sir?
2 minutes, sir. Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
That
was really a surprise.
Okay. Life is full of surprises, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Despite being nervous, I think I did well. We didn't expect to be pitching inside the car at all.
It's clear he was very nervous, but I think he did reasonably well in the circumstances. I think I heard enough to let me want to hear more about this business.
What am I telling you, man?
How'd it go though?
It was good.
It was good.
Well, the first time I tell you that no sound no come out, you know.
The first time no come out.
I say, oh, you can't believe this. That was a good one though.
Remember, they told us we were going to the learning center. So that's where my thought process was. So I just walk in the car casually, planning to sit down and, you know,
I have a casual ride to
2
learning
minutes drive
center.
and just sort of take a few deep breaths, clear my mind so I can be prepared when I get there. And then when he said to me, you know, you have 2 minutes to pitch, that was where I think the nerves really came.
I think we're probably all on the same plane.
I missed information. I missed out.
Bro.
Yeah.
Blunder.
Wicked? Or
I had known that what I had in my head at the time was probably over 2 minutes, right? And I didn't get a chance in my head to trim it down because that was the car ride for me.
Hence the writing on your
Yeah, these
hand.
were just my points.
Okay.
And I was like in the car, I was going to say, all right, this can come out, this can, you know. Oh, halfway through the ask, halfway through the vision, had to stop.
So you didn't get asked.
Didn't ask him anything.
Follow the conversation on social media using hashtag NCB Capital Quest to win prizes. You're watching NCB Capital Quest. The judges are CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Stephen Gooden, Carrie Robinson, Managing Partner, Norbrook Caribbean Investment Company, and guest judge Audrey Tugwell Henry, Senior General Manager for Retail Banking at NCB.
Good evening, entrepreneurs.
Good evening.
Welcome back to the NCB Capital Quest Boardroom, and congratulations on making it this far in the competition.
The ability to pitch your business
is an important aspect of trying to convince an investor to invest in your company. Your challenge today was to pitch your company to a potential investor, Mr. Patrick Hilton, the Group Managing Director of the National Commercial Bank.
Your pitch was recorded and will now be reviewed by the judges, starting with
Dave Oakley, Mobile Money Solutions. How do you think the pitch went for you?
I was a nervous wreck, to be honest, but I tried as best as possible to get the material into my pitch, but I was really nervous.
Well, let's take a look and we'll talk a little bit more after.
My name is Dave Oakley. I am CEO of Mobile Money Solutions. This is 2016, and we think it's time we disrupt the bill payment market. So we're breaking it apart and we're bringing it to the 21st century with our app, EasyBill. I didn't think I did as badly as I first thought. I wasn't as clear as I wanted to be, but I managed to squeeze in as much as possible of what they were looking for. Our product is EasyBill, and we're happy to present it to you, sir.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you're done?
Yes, sir.
The first thing is you should have used up all the time because you needed it actually.
I couldn't actually see the time, so I was just speaking and hoping that I was within the time.
Yeah, you needed the time because you never said what you wanted the money for.
I realized afterwards.
So the investor would want to know,
Why
he's asking me for $15 million, what is he going to do with it?
Honestly.
So I think that may be a little bit of a challenge for you in terms of a pitch.
Understand.
Yeah, I had a problem following the market sizing discussion. Yeah, I had heard a lot of numbers going around, so I was there in my mind trying to do some calculations. You kind of re-engaged me when you said, okay, within, what it was, 3 years? 2 years, the investor would double his investment. So that kind of re-engaged me and made me think, okay, probably I should listen a little bit more about the business, get to know it a little bit more.
In a startup business, one of the difficulties you have versus an established business is that you have no track record or anything to speak to. And so you have to be that much more engaging and that much more succinct in bringing across the value proposition. And I think that's where you struggle a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Thank
you may
for your
leave the
time.
boardroom.
All right.
Thank you.
Based on what the judges said, I missed a few key points, and I'm hopeful that I get the next opportunity to put them in a longer pitch.
Sarah,
Yes.
tell us about the pitch. How do you think it went?
I got the information out. Some maybe more mumbled than others, but I did the best I could under the circumstances, I think.
Okay, awesome. Let's take a look.
Let's. 16 billion US dollars. That's the size of the international destination wedding market. Now, we've already kind of revolutionized the industry here locally by, excuse me, we've already revolutionized the industry here locally by becoming the only authorized retailer in Jamaica of all the designers we carry.
Okay.
I practiced, but I didn't know every single thing perfectly in the order. And so in speaking to Mr. Hilton, I was still in my head remembering the next line. We anticipate a 10 times your return on your investment in 5 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's obvious that you were extremely nervous, but despite being nervous, there were specific things that you wanted to get across, and you did.
Thank you.
I mean, you spoke about the market size. 16 billion US dollars, that's a lot. And it went on to say Jamaica is the #1 destination. So when you think of 16 billion US globally, and you think of the fact that Jamaica is #1, that speaks to opportunity. So you really caught my attention in the first 10, 15 seconds.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Even though you were extremely nervous, one good thing an investor is always interested in is, can you perform under pressure? And both Carrie and Stephen indicated that you got in the key points, even though you were under pressure, and sufficient points to pique the investors' interest. So I think you did a really good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback.
But before you leave the boardroom, I have to ask, Did you pick the NCB colors today, or did they pick that out for you?
I actually picked them from about 2 days ago. When I saw it, I'm like, okay, I gotta wear this today. At least one time throughout the process, I gotta represent.
Very strategic of you, very strategic. Thanks again, Sarah. You can leave the boardroom.
You know, Mr. Hilton clearly could have seen that I was nervous and stuff, and he couldn't really, you know, help me. But I just smiled through it and still tried to be pleasant, and just, my goal was to get the information out, and I did that.
Manning, how's your pitch?
My pitch didn't go as smooth as I would have wanted it, but I think I did my best to make it very engaging and to illustrate the problem, the market size, but didn't get to do the ask before the time ran out, so, which I think was critical.
Okay, well, let's take a look at your pitch.
I'm Maneen Marsh, CEO of thevinings.com. Yes. And like, so these are my shoes, right?
Okay.
And in a couple of months ago, I have to change these. That was a story for, let's say, a 5-minute pitch. You know, in a real life scenario, it's just, you know your audience, be concise, and just like get to the point, or the point that they want to hear from you as soon as possible. People to local businesses.
So I think you started the pitch on a good note by attempting to sell a story, and you spoke about the problem and the solution that your company would provide. For me, I was a little bit lost in terms of how the product or the service would work. And I think there was an opportunity to re-engage Mr. Hilton, to re-engage us, if you were able to speak about the ask and return potential. But unfortunately, time ran out on you.
Yes, I agree with Stephen. It would have been helpful if we understood how the product worked, as well as the potential revenue streams and what's the scope of the business. So I think you lost a great opportunity there to quickly put that in so you could pique the investor's interest.
The other thing is, just because you're building a business doesn't mean you need an investment, and vice versa. So, you know, how are you going to leverage this capital, and how much you need of it, and then what would that do to get you to move further along the path that you're going?
Thank you, Finalists. You may now leave the boardroom.
This is no longer whether or not I did well, it's whether or not the others did poorly, you know, which is not the position I want to be in, you know, but like that's the only thing I think will determine whether or not I remain in this competition.
Moses Chaibar of Icon Importers and Distributors. How do you think your pitch went?
I was literally shocked because I didn't expect what I encountered. So I think I panicked a little bit at first. But in the end, I believe I got most of the information out, and I believe I did well enough for the information to really be passed on, that he could get the gist of what we're about.
Great. Okay, let's take a look and see.
Good afternoon. My name is Moses Chaibar. I'm the CEO of Icon Importers and Distributors. We have grown from 5% net margin in 2012 to 5% in 2015. I realized that I got most of the information out that I had in my pitch. I may not have said it in the exact order that I had originally planned, but more or less I got the majority of the information out. So I think I did well, I think.
We, together, if you invest with us, we will create jobs, we'll save foreign exchange, and we'll make lots of money.
I think you did well. The positive thing that came out was that you were able to give the investor enough information to pique his interest. I think one thing was not clear though is you're currently importing bags and then you want to move into manufacturing of bags, so the investment would be a startup for your manufacturing component?
Correct. The investment would be for the financing of the manufacturing plant and the raw material to get going.
And that would be from a startup phase because predominantly you are importing the bags.
Right, so it would be from starting up, yes.
Yeah.
In a short pitch, you have to be engaging. And I think while you deliver the information, there's certain things that you wanted to get across and you did that well, but it wasn't in an engaging way. So I don't know if I walked away, and I don't know if Mr. Hilton would have walked away saying, I want to hear more about this business, I'm excited about this business, because it was presented in an exciting and engaging way.
the fact that you mentioned that this is a subsidiary of a much larger business, a $1 billion business, kind of adds some credibility to Icon. In other words, it's a part of a business that has been there, done that, done well. So I agree with the points made earlier in terms of the start. It was a little bit rocky and could have been a little bit more engaging, but they caught me with those points.
Okay, thank you, Moses. You may leave the boardroom.
Thank you so much. The judges made some good points. I would want to take those back and use those also to ensure that I improve on any pitch I'm going to be doing later on. And also, even the business itself, some of the points they raise are going to be useful in the business.
As an investor personally, I would be concerned to go with a startup manufacturing. To go from buying plastic bags to now making plastic bags, I would be concerned. But in terms of the challenge of the pitch, he still pitched it better than the other two guys.
I agree.
Money.
It's always good to tell a story to grab the investor, but keep that short and tight. Didn't get a chance to share the ask.
Yes.
And the return opportunity.
Right.
Which is very, very important to the investor. He didn't articulate that.
Now, it's funny because the other tech business is MMS, and he also struggled a bit, still a little bit lofty in trying to say, here's what the issue is, here's the problem, and here's how we solve it. But again, it just needs to be succinct, right? You need to get clear to the point, and then now roll into what's my differentiating factor, what's my value proposition, and what that means for you as an investor. But he did get a couple things out. He did get, he wanted 15 million. He did get a little bit of market size.
One US per person.
So a couple of those things, but still struggled a bit. I think Sarah did extremely well, given the circumstances of how nervous she is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And she was still engaging. Even with the nerves, she could still, she still pulled through.
Yeah. I think that she did well. So let's get them back into the boardroom.
You're watching NCB Capital Quest. We'll be right back. You're watching NCB Capital Quest.
Welcome back, companies. The judges have reviewed your pitch videos and we've discussed the presentations. We've done that to make a determination of who will be the winner of this challenge and who will be eliminated. It should be noted that Icon Importers and Mobile Money Solutions both have a penalty point each, and this will be taken into consideration when deciding who will be eliminated from this challenge.
Moses Chaibar, please step forward. And Dave Oakley, Mobile Money Solution, please step forward. Now, neither of you won this challenge. But then neither of you lost this challenge. You are both safe and you are free to leave the boardroom. Congratulations.
The fact that I was not eliminated today means that I live to fight another day. And moving forward to the next round would definitely mean more preparation.
Based on the challenge that we did last time, I realized that it's an even playing field and it's just how you execute on the day.
Bliss Bridal Boutique and Vinelist, one of you will win this challenge and one of you will be eliminated from this show.
The company which won the challenge by making the best pitch is Bliss Bridal. Bliss Bridal Boutique, you may leave the boardroom.
Right now, the plan going forward is to put together a heck of a pitch and do my darndest and just bring it home.
Vinelist, you're the least convincing pitch, and we've talked a little bit about this. You had comments, and some of the areas where you went wrong. I think that the time management was a little bit tough, but more importantly, that the points that are important in an elevator pitch for an investor a lot of those were not brought across.
This wasn't about whether or not I could do an elevator pitch. This was more about whether or not I could do an elevator pitch in the conditions of this challenge, which up to this point I've managed to show that I'm capable of thinking on my feet. I've managed to show that, you know, I'm one of the most creative people you'll probably meet in your lives. But everybody has their bad day, and today was mine.
So despite the fact that you did not have any penalty points, you know, this is a elimination challenge, and you did have the weakest presentation or pitch of the group, and so unfortunately you're eliminated.
By this, you may leave the boardroom.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
I did say if there's anybody I could beat in a pitch is Dave. And it would seem as if Dave beat me in a pitch here, but Dave didn't beat me in a pitch. Dave beat me in a challenge that was orchestrated by the Capital Quest team. Completely different scenario. You know, on the day, if I was to stand up in front of an investor, give me 10 minutes, I can walk away with $50 million.
On the next episode of NCB Capital Quest.
And then there were three, the final three. One of you will walk away with an investment of up to $50 million.
We're seeking $50 million. We're going to build a prototype.
$30 million to secure a larger location.
$50 million. We are going to manufacture garbage bags in Jamaica.
You expect to make $165 million. That's a lot of money.
So when you're referring to $1 billion business, what are you referring to?
The judges have decided.
You have won season 2 of NCB Capital Quest. Congratulations.